What? This is Super Eyepatch Wolf. In case you don't know them, and in that case you kinda live under a rock, they were one of the first people to make a video about fear and hunger, and recently we streamed together. The purpose of it was for Super Eyepatch Wolf to achieve Ragnavaldr as ending for the first time in Fear and Hunger. And you know, this collaboration has been in discussions since December, but Super Eyepatch Wolf was very busy, and I too was between exams and other projects. So time passed, and I thought, why not making something unique? Why not adding something to the experience of this ending? Welcome, I'm Frapollo94, and today I will tell you about the new boss battle I made in Fear and Hunger! My goal was very simple. I wanted to add something to the experience to make it memorable, but I also didn't want to influence too much the normal requirements. This is, after all, the first time they try Ragnavaldr as ending. For that reason, I didn't want them to have the wrong impression. Oh, and it was also the first time I actually tried to add new content to a game. Like, okay, I have the bug fix mode, but that's not really new content. Most of the time it's just fixing some already existing code. Here instead I needed new ideas, new bosses, new designs, everything. But fortunately, thanks to some fantastic people, I already had in my hands a lot of cool designs to use. First of all, there is the best full body Frapollo I was able to find, made from red nettle, and also, since this image did not have any weapons, I took the only weapon that I thought was easy to put in here, and also kinda meaningful towards what I wanted to do. The miasma from the miasma battles. Even though I think by looking at it you know I don't use this kind of stuff every day, right? I also already had a general concept of how the battle was gonna go. The plan is to make it so that I summon all the old god symbols, with each one of them acting independently. So after looking around a little bit, I was able to find some cool god symbols from a person named Yoko Alexander, asked for permission, and I started to edit their dimensions, because yeah, dimensions cannot be adjusted inside of RPG Maker, or at least I think so. I tried searching around a little bit, but I wasn't able to find anything. So I had to manually change their size on Paint before adding them to the game. And so the images were basically ready, but everything else was still completely blank. What do these enemies do? Where do you fight them? How do you fight them? Why do you fight them also if we want? Alright, let's start from the names. For the names of the symbols, I opted for something very simple. Their names are just gonna be the main trait of the god they represent. So we have the Sigil of Abandonment, Destruction, Fertility, and Sacrifice. For their skills instead, I wanted to do something cute. Their skills should have been references or empowered versions from their Hexen skill tree. For example, Needleworm becomes Needle Scolopendra, and yeah, Scolopendras apparently are not insects, which are the main followers of the God of the Depths, but are closely related, so it's fine. Needle Scolopendra is gonna be a stronger version than Needleworm, so I thought about leeching life from all the enemies at once a lot of times. With this, the health restored is not really the main reason for which the Sigil will use this, it's mainly to deal a lot of damage to everyone. But having only one move wasn't enough. I decided I was gonna try to give 2 moves to all the Sigils. And so, Locust Assault, which later became Locust Domain, was born, which is literally the plague, considering the amount of negative stuff it gives you. In the process, it was very important to test everything, even singularly, to be sure I didn't miss something, I don't know, the element of the attack, the properties, the status effects, you know, everything. But during the process, I was kinda unsatisfied, and it was mainly because of the animation. It didn't really seem oh no, it's the Locust Assault! It seemed more like oh no, scary insect. Boo-boo. So I decided I was gonna manually modify the animation for this attack. And I was pretty happy with the result. It seemed a little bit more an assault, I guess, because there were more insects. And last but not least, I also added stuff like the state resistances and a correct amount of HP to the Sigil. It was not surely finished, but finally the Sigil was starting to look like an actual enemy. Even though by this point I was feeling kinda scared. I almost spent around 1 hour just to think and make the skeleton of a single enemy. And when you compare that to how big the Fear and Hunger code is, oh boy, I can't imagine how long it took to make all of this other stuff. But the rest is over because it's time to work on all the other sigils. The Destruction one gets Traces of a Claw, which wanted to be a weaker version of Claw of a God, and Living Inferno, which wanted to be Burning Gaze, basically. Fertility, on the other hand, was kinda difficult, because I wanted these sigils to be primarily offensive, but you know, Sylvian spells are mostly support healing spells. So I came up with an idea. Sigil of Fertility will heal the party, but it will leave a drawback. That's Loving Screams. It heals, but has a chance to put critical state on you. And then we also got Color from the Infinity, which is another version of Color from the Unknown. And now it was time for the one that took me the most time. Sigil of Sacrifice. What can I give to Olmir? I was also thinking of taking inspiration from Termin at one point. Then I started working on something called Transmute Reality, and I frankly don't remember where I wanted to go with this, because I was doing this on the 10th of December, so my memory is kinda fuzzy. And since nothing was coming up to my mind, I decided it was better to start working on some other stuff, to differentiate a little bit. The map we are gonna use already exists in the game files. If you watched my discarded ending theory video, you already know what I'm talking about. It's map 131. I will not explain too much in this video what's that about. If you're really interested, you can watch the theory video. I will leave it down in the description. And then I started working on the troop, which for those that don't know, is basically the battle itself. For now we worked on the enemies, now we have to put the enemies into an actual battle. I copy-pasted the very basic battle events from other fights, you know, Talk, Steel, Blood Golem if you want, and then started adding stuff on top of them. Again, I was very lucky that I had access to a whole database of pre-made events, and examples of how things are supposed to work, because without those, I would have probably required at least double the time I actually took to make this. Skin Granny in particular was able to teach me the way to make new enemies appear in a battle in the Fear and Hunger style, with the screen fading to black and then the enemy appearing afterwards. Which maybe for you is not spectacular, but this is like 5 lines of code that I wouldn't have known otherwise. Every time I added even the most minuscule thing, test, immediately. Testing was the main priority. If there is even a single mistake and I start adding too much stuff, I risk of losing too much time going back and checking everything singularly again. Oh, and of course, in the spirit of Fear and Hunger, I couldn't not add a coin flip attack in my own battle. But you know me, just copy-pasting it wasn't enough. Then it occurred to my mind, Frapollo is a struggler of the dungeon as well. Even if you're not controlling him, he's a player, he may have items in his inventory. And so it occurred to me, what if you guard the coin flip attack of a player? Then for sure the player is allowed to toss a coin to decide if he's gonna attack you regardless. So yeah, the first time you guard the coin flip attack, Frapollo is gonna toss a coin, and if it lands on heads, he is gonna attack you. And before you say, but Frapollo, that's just RNG! Actually, I said you need to hit heads, but the coin will always land on heads in this case. I'm sorry, I'm just made like this. Oh, and of course I made the coin flip attack less punitive, as a way to balance the compulsory attack you will receive. And I also made a new animation for this attack. And cherry on top. You know the breath of the guard before the coin flip? Why not adding something similar to mine as well? Are you ready? Also, similar to how Francois will go to the next phase after you deal a certain amount of damage, all the sigils will appear at different percentages of Frapollo HP. And that's the moment in which I decided the purpose of the Sigil of Sacrifice. Since my idea with it was to basically make it die together with someone else, why not taking the countdown from Gorgoroth? In that way, you have some turns to completely nullify his effect, or even better finish off Frapollo before that. Otherwise, if you don't do that, he is gonna blow himself up and bring someone down with it. And that's the skill. Taking inspiration from the Bible, since Olmir is a reference to Jesus, Judgment Day, the day in which Jesus will judge humanity and destroy Earth and Heaven. Even though this particular research for an attack made me realize something deep down. Regardless of the idea behind it, being some sort of empowered version of already existing skills, the names I picked for the other skills were, soulless. Just a bunch of letters smashed on a keyboard. There was no real reason for those names, you know what I mean? So, I decided to do a little homage to a game series that I was playing in that moment, Shin Megami Tensei. Locust Domain became Deathflies, a move used by Belzebub in Shin Megami Tensei Nocturne. Living Inferno became Titanomachia, a move used by Asterius in Persona 5, and Judgment Day had a little change too. Even if I liked the previous name, I decided to go for Die For Me, used by Alice in Persona 3. I was feeling very inspired at this point. It was time to make Frapollo attacks. They would have all been based on Shin Megami Tensei 2. We got Vorpal Blade, Spin Slash, and Megaton Press. Those were gonna be the base ways for Frapollo to attack. After all this time, the actual battle test was able to start. And I don't mean testing the single parts, I mean testing overall to see if it's balanced around the stuff that you're gonna have in Ragnavaldr as ending. Damage will have to change, HP of the opponents will have to change, negative statuses, probabilities will have to change, there is a lot of stuff to modify. While I was going with my tests though, I made a realization. I cannot test the fights. And of course not because I think that I am better than other players, absolutely no. I don't believe that. But because I made them. I already know what to expect. I already know how to act, I already know the HP, I already know everything. And so I contacted some friends with decent experience about Fear and Hunger, and I made them work for me. And I gotta say, without this part, Frapollo battle would have been a nightmare. Frapollo was rotten at its core. Sylvian Sigil was completely busted by putting critical state. If you were even slightly unlucky with that, Frapollo would have killed at least one skeleton per turn. So I changed it to reduce your agility. In this way, temporarily the enemies will have a chance to get extra turns. Also, some attacks were just useless. Spin Slash was just a weaker Megaton press, basically, so I got sure to make some adjustments. And in the end, I also decided to add a second phase to the fight. What better ally can come to help Frapollo in a battle, if not the Pinecone Pig? Pinecone Pig is my favorite part of the battle. It functions very similar to the normal one. Each turn he will basically bring you a random item from a selected pool, and then he is the only opponent in this battle which can be set on fire, because, you know, he's a Pinecone. And Pinecone also has a last resort. Before dying, he is gonna buff Frapollo. Except that,
No! Stop giving up.
No! I made a mistake. No! Okay, we found a bug. We found a bug. No, this is a bug. This is a bug. Imagine if this was real, how buffed the Frapollo would become with multiple brown vials. And by this time, I think the work on battles was basically over, which made me realize another thing, which I didn't notice up to now because I was more focused on the battles. The dialogues I made were, how do I say this? The dialogues were, way too edgy. Yeah, especially in the part before the start of the boss fight, all the dialogues I did were terrible. Like, I was cringing just reading them, and I am sorry, I've never made a game or anything and never tried to write something like a book, so why am I doing this? Because funny. And I cannot even do miracles, so a part of them will of course stay edgy, but I am sorry. The battle was over. The dialogues in the map 131 were over. The last thing to do was adding more soul even to the game before the actual battle. As I told you, I don't want to influence too much the normal experience of Ragnavaldr as ending. So adding some stuff that is not directly influencing it I think should be the best course of actions. Mainly I added various sections with the Husk and Pocket Cat, and also I made my own sprite in Fear and Hunger. I mean, I literally took the Pocket Cat clothes and I made an helmet on top of it by taking inspiration from internet. Everything was ready. What you will see now is a compilation of Super Eyepatch Wolf reactions to the new content. Be sure to leave him once again a follow on Twitch, and see you on the other side.
So, Frap, if we hung out in real life, I would be significantly shorter than you.
I can beat you up.
Actually, no, wait, scratch that. Charity grappling events. Boxing is not what I do. Grappling will be fine. You're not secretly a jiu-jitsu black belt, are you?
Absolutely no.
Okay, grappling, yeah. Grappling will be fine. Grappling will be fine. Do not look up anything about my prior experience, okay? It's fine. Come on, fucker.
Okay.
This is the worst guard ever. Come on, dude. Let's put stupid Joe in the prison. He'll be fine.
Do you remember what does marksmanship do?
I don't think I ever used it in the main game.
You didn't? And you played as Ragnavaldr?
Mm-hmm.
Ah, hardcore. Okay.
You could replace hardcore with fucking idiot, but thank you for putting it that way.
Can you give me a second? I need to go to the bathroom because
I'm
literally pissing myself.
Okay. Chat, it's just me. I can drop some sick Fear and Hunger knowledge on you here. The ghoul has a HP pool. Once his HP hits 0, the battle ends. Yeah, you know, Frapollo, I also dropped some sick Fear and Hunger knowledge there.
What did you do?
Oh yeah, you know, it's not important.
Yeah, it has one useful application. Go on the left, on the left, on the left,
on the left.
On the left.
Oh!
It's a forgot to. So yeah, for Ragnarvalder as ending, in case you didn't know, we need to get the boss souls of almost all the bosses. So actually, all the bosses.
So the bosses: Crowmauler and Flame Golem, Snake, Salmon Snake, Dick Ghost.
Who is Dick Ghost?
It's the ghost. It's the ghost when the armor falls off him. You see his dick. This part is actually really fucking bad here as well. Oh my god.
Open the menu. Open and close the menu.
Okay. Oh my god. How do you feel about spiders in real life, Frap?
I hate spiders.
Yeah, no, I cannot stand them.
It's time to use the map number 1. Have you ever used the map?
No, I haven't actually.
Do you want to try to figure them out on your own, or do I tell you the answer?
I'm gonna say you tell me. Cause what the fuck is this? Whoever drew this map should be fucking fired and never be allowed to draw a map again.
There is a mannequin near the vendor, okay? Shoot her with the bow. Okay, it's not dead. Go to the present.
Okay. Wait. What the fuck?
A few moments for it to continue.
Yeah. Wait. What? Wait. What was that about?
What? Sorry, I was texting a girl. What happened? Alright, supposedly this is the last boss fight we have to do.
Why are you saying supposedly? It is the last boss fight!
I didn't say supposedly, what do you mean? Careful, don't stay too close, you're always making me very scared. You're doing it on purpose, I swear you're doing it on purpose.
Whatever do you mean? I feel like we've been allies up till now, and I'm starting to feel like you are keeping something from me.
I would never keep something from you, what do you mean? You can leave, buddy.
Oh. Conceived by darkness, you would hunt down all the beasts that hid from the eyes of the oblivious world. The beast would come to know you. Super Eyepatch will. Oh, that's me.
Be sure to not close the game, okay?
Okay. But can you be sure of this? You really think you're able to leave? After all you've seen, the others. Kahara lived a life of damnation. Never able to forget the horrors he saw, his family will pay the price. Dark used the powers beyond her comprehension. A similar taint will never fade in the past, in the future. Enki shared his enlightenment, only to be antagonized as a fool. And you? No. How are you called among people, final gamer? You delve deeper than anyone else. One of the first to survive and teach people about the dungeon. Oh no, this is getting too real. This is getting too real. I don't like this. I don't like this at all. But that's also why I'm here. I will wait you inside. So then what's back in here? Oh no. Oh no. You showed the dungeon to the public. No. In a few hours, the assault began. Everyone entered searching for glory and got killed again and again. As long as the final gamer didn't give up, they too charged fiercely. The final gamer revitalized this place. Oh my fucking god. Oh my fuck. Or maybe we could say you gave it a second birth. I hate this. I am upset. I am afraid. I don't want this. What will happen to the dungeon if he leaves? Long ago, there was just the dungeon with no one around. If no one is around, does anything really exist? Listen, final gamer, if you want to leave, you have to show me what you've learned. Show me that you really are the god of ultraviolence and annihilate me. It's an evil message. What? The dungeon is changing shape again. Guess it wants a memorable battle too. Oh my fucking god. Oh, you're guarding. You forced me to use my last coin. I choose heads. What? Oh no! Die for me. Come, my dear companion. Frappolo, you brought me something. The pinecone bring big something. Wow! Please let the pinecone pig die. Please let it die. Frappolo, that was incredible. Holy shit. I can't believe you were the darkness all along.
Thanks to you for having me. Like, this moment was crazy. I was waiting the hell out of this moment up to now. Like,